Did you know that film icon Katharine Hepburn almost killed a director who was married but also in love with her? The actress maintained a complicated love list with the men she met, and it is still a debate today whether she found comfort in the beds of fellow industry women in the darkest of her days, an allegation she has refused to deny. But the confusing part is, does it have anything to do with why she feels disqualified from being a mother and a wife? Let's find out while showing you some of her rare photos. Katharine Hepburn's favorite thing about her parents was that they gave all 6 of their children the privilege of free thinking. And the first thing she would do with this as a child was to transform into a tomboy and change her name to Jimmy. Their family was a simple one. Her mother made them march the streets with her for women's rights demonstrations, and her father taught her to love golf. But acting and passion for movies was one thing she brought upon herself. According to Hepburn, she enjoyed plays so much that nobody could deny her one every Saturday evening. When she was much older, she started putting up her own shows for 50 cents a ticket as she tried to raise money for the Navajo people. Hepburn's parents had the money for it, but the actress just didn't like school. Once, she was caught smoking in class, and the only thing that would convince her to continue was the roles in the college plays. After a successful appearance in a school play, Katharine decided that nothing would stop her from becoming an actress. So, the day after her college graduation, she packed her bags and traveled to Baltimore to meet a film producer. He arranged for her first public theatrical appearance in the play The Czarine, and the media described her performance as arresting. 2 years later, Hepburn had already been in a string of plays and had proven well beyond doubt that she was industry material. However, she was always a victim of internal politics that marred the industry at the time, and this delayed her big break. A lot of people believe that her breakout performance was in the 1932 Greek fable play The Warrior Husband. Even though Katharine wanted wild success, she knew that Hollywood was not the best place to go, but a scout who witnessed her The Warrior Husband's performance would present her with an offer she couldn't resist. For $1,500 a week, Hepburn agreed to the role in the RKO film A Bill of Divorcement, but she was about to regret this. The film, after it was released, brought the actress loads of positive reviews, and Hepburn was deceived to believe that this was the way of the new Hollywood. She would soon learn by experience that the industry was only this kind to you if you had something to give in return. Her second film in Hollywood was in the 1933 romantic drama film Christopher Strong. While the film was not very successful, Hepburn's performance did not go unnoticed. She again attracted most of the good reviews and mentions. Morning Glory proved to be just the film the actress had been praying for, as her appearance was rewarded with an Academy Award for Best Actress. Hepburn continued her success with the role of Jo in the film Little Women. The production was a big hit and undoubtedly one of Hepburn's proudest performances. The years that followed were not very pleasant for Katharine, as she continued to make headlines for all the wrong reasons. You see, the actress had this very complicated relationship with the press, and they made sure that she paid for it. The media didn't like her very much because she wouldn't accept interviews, and she denied all autograph requests. So they dubbed her Katharine of Arrogance and made jokes about her boyish character and fashion choices. But she cared very little about them at the time. Her career was dying, and all that mattered to her was how to save it. After 5 long dark years, Hepburn found all that she had been praying for in the 1939 comic play The Philadelphia Story. It was one of the biggest hits of 1940, and the actress was right at the center of it. Other appearances you might remember by the actress include The African Queen, The Lion in Winter, On Golden Pond, Woman of the Year, and Alice Adams, among many others. 6 decades and 4 Academy Awards later, Katharine Hepburn had become one of Hollywood's most talented leading ladies. She is best remembered for her strong and independent character, which broke all limitations for women of her age. Aged 87, Hepburn had her final dance on TV in the 1994 One Christmas. Her performance was recognized with a Screen Actors Guild nomination. But before that, we all knew that Hepburn had her troubles with men. But one thing that is still debated today is whether those troubles led her to the arms and beds of other women in the industry. Even when she was still alive, whispers that she was bisexual moved around the industry. But after her death, things got even more severe. Popular blogs started citing sources that revealed that Katharine was interested in and even infatuated with a few women at some point in her life. She was known to keep lesbian friends throughout her life, and it is widely believed that those friends turned companions during her dark days in the industry. The most popular was Laura Harding. Harding accompanied her to her Hollywood screen debut, and the two women became inseparable until death. She was also linked to actress Alyssa Landy, who was also rumored to be bisexual. In the 1950s, after lesbian actress Constance Collier died, her partner, Phyllis Wilborn, lived with Katharine Hepburn up until her last days. She was buried in the Hepburn family plot. Katharine never said anything publicly on the matter, but even her silence continued to fuel these rumors. A lot of people believe that she was tight-lipped about her sexuality because she wanted to protect her career. Others argue that she just didn't care enough. In whatever case, Hepburn was one woman who couldn't be forced to fit into the status quo, and that was why she caused so much trouble for the people who couldn't stand her. Not sure if Katharine Hepburn was particularly thrilled with the luxury of happily ever after. Ask me, she just wanted peace, and the men in her life would give her everything but that. Her love story started outside the industry with socialite businessman Ludlow Ogden Smith. They met in college, and according to Hepburn's autobiography, they never shared a bed until they tied the knot. After their marriage, the actress, who was desperate for her big break, abandoned her wife duties, and this became one of her biggest regrets. While Smith was the perfect husband, she was always too busy that she never gave him the attention he deserved. So after 6 years, they went their separate ways, and the guilt of this separation never left Katharine. In her autobiography, she called herself a terrible pig for playing with Ludlow's love. "I wasn't fit to be married because I only thought about myself," Hepburn said. Many believe that Katharine's marriage failed because she didn't give it the attention it required, but it was much more than that. In her early days in Hollywood, the actress had a quiet affair with a married agent, Leland Hayward, and this was just as much as Smith could bear. Hepburn filed for a divorce on April 30th, 1934, and that was the end of their union. However, the actress continued to maintain a close friendship with her ex-husband until he died in 1979. Leland Hayward, too, wasn't going to have it easy with his wife. She divorced him, but on the bright side, he had what he wanted. He was finally free, so he proposed to Hepburn, but she turned him down with the excuse that she liked the idea of being her own single self. Hayward, seeing that this romance was the best he was ever going to get, stuck with it. But after 4 years, the actress got tired of him. Her next relationship was with American entrepreneur Howard Hughes. Like the men before him, Hughes tried his best to wife the actress, but her mind was made up on this. Marriage with Ludlow Ogden Smith was her last, and nothing could change her mind about it. But one thing was undeniable. She loved Howard, and he broke her heart when he started having multiple affairs. They separated in 1938, and I doubt if they ever spoke to each other again. Her next relationship was the most significant in her life, and it was with co-star Spencer Tracy. According to Katharine, Tracy lived a tortured life, and she was in his life to make it easier for him. They met in 1941 when she was 34 and he was 41, and it was not exactly love at first sight. Spencer disliked her instantly because of her dirty fingernails, and he also believed the rumors that she was a lesbian. But Hepburn revealed that she knew right away that she wanted him, and she was ready to do anything to get him. The actor was married, but that didn't matter so much to Katharine, and so she worked her way to his heart till he became dependent on her. They did their best to keep their romance away from the eyes of the public, but Spencer's lifestyle was going to give them away. He was a helpless alcoholic who was frequently depressed, so he needed Hepburn around to get by. During his last years, Katharine took a 5-year break from the screens to fend for her dying lover. Spencer Tracy died on June 10, 1937, and out of consideration for his family, Katharine missed his funeral. Katharine Hepburn believed that she could never make a good mother because she was naturally selfish. She believed that motherhood required a full-time commitment, and that was one sacrifice she refused to make. Growing up, she had experience with parenting with her siblings, and the first time she tried to be a mother, her heart was broken, and she was forced into isolation. As a child, Katharine Hepburn used to be a much happier kid than we remember, but her brother was going to leave her with a scar that changed her forever. In March 1921, 13-year-old Hepburn left for New York with her brother. According to the popular blogs, they were supposed to stay with a friend of their mother's who lived in Greenwich Village over the Easter break. 7 days after their arrival, Katharine walked into her brother's room only to find him hanging from the ceiling. He had tied a curtain tie around his neck and fastened it to a beam. The family denied that it was suicide. From their side of the story, it was all an experiment that had gone wrong. Hepburn was beyond shattered. She didn't understand why her brother or anybody else would do such a thing, and recovery from this turned her into all she was when she was in the industry. After her brother's death, Katharine lost interest in everything. She became moody and incredibly suspicious of people. She hated company and continued to insist that she dropped out of school. Also, for many years after his death, the actress used her brother's birth date as her own. It was not until the release of her 1991 autobiography that we learned of her true birth date. Not sure if Katharine ever faced anything as painful as this in her life, or maybe she just learned how not to fully commit. Another interesting fact that not many people know is that Katharine Hepburn almost killed a director who was married but also in love with her. Hepburn met director John Ford on the set of the 1936 Mary of Scotland. John was a very religious man, so he was not known to play around with women, but something about Hepburn refused to leave him. And it all went well until the actress wanted him to. After a filming session, she lured him to her hometown Fenwick, Connecticut, where she tried to seduce him. Ford was a man of strong principles, and so he wouldn't budge. He loved Hepburn, but nothing could ever happen between them until he was legally divorced from his wife. This frustrated Katharine, and she offered to pay off his wife with the sum of $150,000, but she refused a divorce. To cope with all the drama, John started drinking a lot, and one day, Hepburn got a call. The director had gone on a wild drinking bender and no one could comfort him. Katharine raced to his house and found him drunk in his room. To help him sober up, she forced him to drink whiskey and castor oil, and the results were not what she expected. The director fell grievously ill, and Hepburn was sure that she almost killed him. When he finally recovered, the actress made sure to run as far away as she could from him. John Ford was in trouble, and she realized that it would be best if they never met. I have no fear of death. Must be wonderful, like a long sleep. Katharine Hepburn. Hepburn's health started deteriorating after her final screen appearance at 87 years old. First, she was hospitalized in March 1993 for exhaustion. Then, 3 years later, she returned to the hospital with pneumonia. By the end of that decade, the actress was showing all signs of dementia. In May 2003, a large tumor was found in Hepburn's neck, but they all agreed not to medically intervene. She died the following month from cardiac arrest and was buried at the Hepburn family home in Fenwick, Connecticut. Her death attracted tributes from presidents, Hollywood executives, actors, and fans. In 2005, following her dying wish, her belongings were put up for auction, and the proceeds were willed to her family. Katharine Hepburn's legacy remains as a lady who, with the roles she played, transformed into a symbol of strength and resilience for generations of women. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other videos of beautiful actresses from the yesteryears on the end screen below. As always, thanks for watching.